Hey TechKnowStuds, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start creating a calculator. By creating just a simple addition machine that's going to do some calculation, we'll start seeing what the chip does to actually process data. So in here, let's take a look at what that project's gonna look like and how we're gonna start creating what a calculator is. Here I have a very simplistic calculator. So I'm going to take a look at what if I were to add two numbers together to come up with an answer. And that's what we're going to use as our project here in the next few videos. Now, one thing to understand is there is different numbering systems. And the system that we're used to working with is the decimal system. It starts out with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. Binary looks quite a bit different. Binary starts out with 0, goes to 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 1. I actually have videos out there that describe this process of how to do a count in binary, and I've got a whole set of videos to work through all of this. That's not the purpose of these videos. I just want you to have a basic understanding that binary looks quite a bit different from the perspective of just looking at it, and where sometimes it's a little hard to adapt to it because it's just ones and zeros. But in many ways, they operate the same way. Let's take a look at adding in both decimal and binary. With decimal, I'd start out with the ones column and add this together right here. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Then I go to the next column. 0 plus 5 is 5. Then I go to the next column. 9 plus 1 is actually the hundreds column here resets to 0, and then we carry a 1 into the thousand column, and there's nothing to add it to, so then we end up with 1051. With binary, we do the same thing. We start with the rightmost column here, which is the ones. We add 0 plus 1, and what is 1. Then we go to, it's actually the twos column, but we won't get too deep into that, but that's 0 plus 1, and so that's 1 as well. Then we go to the 4 column right here, and that's 1 plus 1. And we can't have a 2 in here. There's only zeros and ones. So what happens is that this 4 column gets reset to 0, and we carry a 1 into the next column. Then what we see here is 1 plus 0 plus 0, which is 1. And so this is the answer of adding these two numbers together. By the way, though, these numbers are much, much, much smaller than these numbers. And the answer is, let's see, it's an 8 plus a 2 plus a 1. So the answer over here is actually 11. This is the equivalent to a decimal 11. So how does a calculator calculate this out? Let's just take one column, that first column here, and come up with some scenarios. We could have 0 plus 0. We could have 1 plus 0, we could have 0 plus 1, and we could have 1 plus 1. So those are the 4 scenarios we have with just that first column adding two numbers together. So let's take this first one. Let's say there's a 0 plus 0. So the input 1 is 0, and the input 2 is 0. So we've got 0 and 0 right here. Then what is the answer of that going to be? And this isn't a trick question. 0 plus 0 is 0. So we're going to just say 0 right here. So the output for here is 0. So now, if you get the grasp of that, what you can do right now is you can pause the video and try to figure out the rest of this table and see if you can figure out what the rest of the table is going to be. And then we'll come back and we'll actually do it together. So pause the video right now if you want to play along with this, if you want to try this out and fill in the rest of the table and see what happens. All right, let's see what the rest of these are. So in this next scenario right here, it's 1 plus 0. So 1 and 0 are the inputs here. And we can see that that's going to be 1. So the output is going to be 1. 0 plus 1 is this one right here, which the answer is 1 there. So we've got that. And then 1 plus 1, this is where this column gets reset and we carry a 1 into the next column. So what that looks like is we're going to put a 0 as the output. This is the output right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to carry the 1 into the next column. So the 1 right here, in fact, we can fill in the rest of this chart. This was 0 the rest of the time. So now we've made a chart in order to, for the output of these 4 different scenarios. So we're going to play around with these charts a little bit more when we get into gates, but this just kind of gives you, dips your toe in it. So if you didn't get that, don't worry about it. We're going to kind of progress on from here, and I'm actually going to present this again in one of my other videos. Now what a calculator is going to do is it's going to do that for the first column, and then it will do it for the second column, then the third column, then the fourth column, to figure out what the answer is.